The banknotes continue to pay tribute to South Africa's first democratically elected president, Nelson Mandela. His portrait adorned on the front of the upgraded banknotes, while the big five animals are illustrated as family on the back. The Reserve Bank says updating the currency is important in order to keep up with technological advancements and primarily to ensure that South Africa better safeguards itself from the scourge of counterfeiting.
The security features are what prevents banknotes from being counterfeited. Some of the security features are meant to assist the public to identify how a genuine banknote looks like. So for example, our banknotes have got what we call watermarks. So you will see Madiba in the front, and if you take the banknote against the sun, you'll see another Madiba hidden within the banknote. When you look at our banknote, you'll also find that there is a strip. We call it a security strip. You can't just do that. And we also built into our banknotes what we call Omron rings. If you take our banknote and you try to photocopy it, the new photocopiers will say to you, this is prohibited, you cannot do it.
10 years since his passing, the governor says it's fitting that the country's legal tender will continue to honour the legacy of Nelson Mandela, not to mention the great values espoused by the Constitution and the country's heritage.
The message throughout our banknotes, that they celebrate our Constitution, they celebrate our heritage, they celebrate our fauna and flora, they celebrate our big five. So it's a story of a country which had come from a dark past and is now in a democratic era and is weaving and living that heritage that we have actually come through.
When pressed on economic matters affecting citizens, the governor reiterated his concern about load shedding adversely impacting economic growth this year. And when it comes to inflation, he argued that South Africans expect a responsible Reserve Bank.
It is the role of the South African Reserve Bank to nip this monster of inflation in its bud, because inflation is a thief. It steals the income of the poor. And I hear the cries of South Africans that inflation is stealing their income. It is eating their income. And unfortunately, in having to deal with inflation and preventing this thief from stealing the income of South Africans, we are going to have to administer some medicine. That medicine is going to be a little bit bitter, and it's unfortunately interest rates. The cries of South Africans is not a cry about rising interest rates. That is the after effects of dealing with the pain that South Africans are going through. South African pain is a pain of rising prices.
The upgraded cash sees the enhancement of the colours on the notes. This is to help partially sighted members of the community to better differentiate between the different cash denominations. The coins are ecologically themed. For example, the 10-cent coin is adorned with the Cape honeybee, the 20-cent piece with bitter aloe, while the 2-rand coin bears the depiction of the springbok. The upgraded South African cash and coins will be introduced into the South African economy on the 4th of May. And we hope, of course, that as the economy grows, we'll see more of those rands and cents circulating in the economy in the near future. Nompumelelo Siziba, SABC News, Johannesburg.